Hello, everybody. Welcome to this stream. My name is Anu, and we're gonna get real here. There is a topic that I really want to talk about, and this is kind of the perfect opportunity because Trump just announced a few hours ago here the massive AI investment and infrastructure that's going to be built, and I wanted to get on here and talk about it. I was thinking about live streaming the actual thing when it happened, but I wanted to be able to take the time to watch it and then do a little bit of research and come back to you with a little bit more of a in-depth look at these things, as opposed to just being like, oh wow, did you hear what he said? So I wanted to come through and give you guys a little bit more context into some of the stuff that was said during the announcement, and then I also wanted to express some of my concerns as well. So welcome to the stream, you guys. Let's get right into it. I'm not going to waste too much time. First thing we're going to do is we're going to switch over and get to the screen share so we can see what's going on here. So the first thing that I want to show you guys really quick is the tweet that, or rather post, X post that Charlie Kirk put out kind of announcing what had happened. This is kind of a great small summary. I'm just going to read this for you. So Charlie Kirk said, President Trump has just announced Stargate Project, a new American company which will invest $500 billion over the next 4 years building new AI infrastructure in the United States. Oracle's Larry Ellison, SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son, and OpenAI Sam Altman were present Sam Altman were present to jointly announce the formation of the company. The initial equity funders in Stargate are SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, and MGX. MGX, by the way, if you don't know, is NVIDIA's server capability for AI and whatnot. So I'm not going to go too deep into the technical aspects of that. That's just to give you an idea of what MGX is. Okay, SoftBank is obviously part of Masayoshi Son's thing. So and then he said the project will create over 100,000 high quality jobs and catapult America in front of China in the AI race. Now, this announcement sounds great, and it is great. It's actually a really cool thing because America making sure that they're at the forefront of innovations and technology is honestly something that we need to get back to. We've had amazing innovations and progress in the tech world, but there's been tons of regulation and things like that that have actually held a lot of companies back from doing what they really need to do to push this country forward. Elon Musk has talked about it. That tons of other tech people have talked about the regulations coming from government have stopped those things. And so it's really cool now that we're opening up for progress. Let me now go to, we're going to take a look at the actual announcement. We'll watch it together, and then what I'll do is I'll go in and talk about some of the things that I really want to talk about. Okay, so here it is. This is the announcement that President Trump made. Now, mind you, in this press briefing, they go on to some of the other topics, like some of the J6 pardons and all that stuff, but we're going to concentrate on the AI stuff, okay? And I'm going to probably stop it before we start getting into the J6 stuff, because he starts taking questions and stuff like that, and it kind of goes off the rails a little bit from what the actual announcement was about. But we'll talk about all that other stuff in another episode. I'll do another live or something like that after doing a little bit more research, but I wanted to talk about AI specifically in this one. So let's get started here with this.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Some very familiar faces. Well, thank you very much, and it's an honor to be here today. We have first full day as president. We're back, and we had a great first term, but we're going to have an even better second term, and I think we're going to do things that people will be shocked at. We're starting off with tremendous investment coming into our country at levels that nobody's really ever seen before, and they're very happy with the fact that I won the race and that they feel confident in their investments. And it's big money and high quality people. So my first day back from having a nice life, it's my honor to welcome three of the world's leading technology CEOs. And in the case of Larry Ellison, it's well beyond technology. He's sort of CEO of everything. He's an amazing man, an amazing business person. But to announce the largest AI infrastructure project by far in history, and it's all taking place right here in America. As you know, there's great competition for AI and other things, and they're coming in at the highest level. We're joined by Oracle Executive Chairman Larry Ellison, SoftBank CEO, my friend Masa Yoshi-san, and CEO of OpenAI, and I would say by far the leading expert based on everything I read, Sam Altman. So that's great that you're coming in together. That's a massive group of talent and money. Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you're going to hear a lot about it in the future. A new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States, and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly, creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately. This monumental undertaking is a resounding declaration of confidence in America's potential under a new president. Let me be a new president. I didn't say it, they did. So I appreciate that, fellas. But it'll ensure the future of technology. What we want to do is we want to keep it in this country. China is a competitor and others are competitors. We want it to be in this country, and we're making it available. I'm going to help a lot through emergency declarations, because we have an emergency. We have to get this stuff built. So they have to produce a lot of electricity, and we'll make it possible for them to get that production done very easily at their own plants if they want, where they'll build at the plant, the AI plant, they'll build energy generation, and that will be incredible. But it's technology and artificial intelligence, all made in the USA. Beginning immediately, Stargate will be building the physical and virtual infrastructure to power the next generation of advancements in AI, and this will include the construction of colossal data centers, very, very massive structures. I was in the real estate business. These buildings, these are big, beautiful buildings. Are going to employ a lot of people. And physical campuses in locations currently being scouted nationwide. They're making their choices of locations. I think they have their choice. I'd like to ask Larry, Sam, and Masa to say a few words and just talk about a little bit about what they're doing, and if you have any questions, and then we'll go into a couple of other subjects also. But this is, to me, a very big thing. $500 billion Stargate project. I think it's going to be something that's very special. It'll lead to something that could be the biggest of all. So, Larry, maybe we'll start with you, and we'll go down the line. Thank you.
So this is Larry Ellison of Oracle.
Thank you, Mr. President. We certainly couldn't do this without you. It would simply be impossible. AI holds incredible promise for all of us, for every American. We've actually been working with OpenAI for a while, and with Masa for a while. The data centers are actually under construction. The first of them are under construction in Texas. Each building's 500,000 square feet. There are 10 buildings currently being built, but that will expand to 20, and other locations beyond the Abilene location, which is our first location. The kind of applications that we're building, to give you an idea, maybe the most charismatic and the one that I think touches us all is electronic health records. Not just maintaining electronic health records, but by looking at electronic health records, understanding the condition of doctors, better understanding the condition of their patients, and being able to provide healthcare plans that are much better than they otherwise would be. A doctor in Indian River Reservation would be able to see how a doctor at Memorial Sloan Kettering would treat the patient, or a doctor at Stanford would treat the patient. We actually provide all of that information, all of that guidance to the doctors who are treating cancer patients or patients with any other kind of disease, made possible by AI. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm going to pass it to Masa, but this is a very exciting program for Oracle to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you. That really helped. That's good. That's great. I feel tall now. Thank you. Well, Mr. President, last month I came to celebrate your winning and promised that we will invest $100 billion. And you told me, oh, Masa, go for 200. Yeah. Now I came back with 500. Because this is the, as you said yesterday, this is the beginning of golden age of America. This is one great example, I think, right? We wouldn't have decided to do this.
I think so.
This is the beginning of golden age. We wouldn't have decided unless you won. And yesterday we agreed, we signed to make this happen.
That's great.
Because of this day.
Very nice.
So we would make this happen. We would immediately start deploying $100 billion with the goal of making $500 billion within next 4 years, within your term. Right? Because of your success. So we are very, very excited to do this. And our partner is, of course, SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, and additionally investing partner with MGX. On top of that, we have the technology partner, NVIDIA, and of course, Microsoft has been very, very supportive to SAM and continue to support all our success. This is not just for business. As Larry said, this will help people's life. This will help solving many, many issues, difficult things that otherwise we could not have solved with the power of AI. I think AGI is coming very, very soon. And then after that, that's not the goal. After that, artificial super intelligence will come to solve the issues that mankind would never ever have thought that we could solve. Well, this is the beginning of our golden age. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fantastic.
Sam.
I don't have too much to add, but I did want to say I'm thrilled we get to do this in the United States of America. I think this will be the most important project of this era. And as Masa said, for AGI to get built here, to create hundreds of thousands of jobs, to create a new industry centered here, we wouldn't be able to do this without you, Mr. President. And I'm thrilled that we get to. I think it'll be an exciting project. I think we'll be able to do all of the wonderful things that these guys talked about. But the fact that we get to do this in the United States is, I think, wonderful. So thank you very much.
Could you just say one word? I hear so many positive things about what it's going to do for medical research and for solving things, cancer and all the different problems. How will AI help us with the fight against the various problems, diseases, etc.?
These guys can maybe share more about some of the work they're doing there. I think they'll jointly be some of the leaders about driving progress here. But I believe that as this technology progresses, we will see diseases get cured at an unprecedented rate. We will be amazed at how quickly we're curing this cancer and that one and heart disease, and what this will do for the ability to deliver very high quality healthcare, the costs, but really to cure the diseases at a rapid rate, I think will be among the most important things this technology does.
Okay, great. Very good. Thank
Can
you.
I stick and answer that question, Mr. President? So we're currently working on, should I step on this? Okay. All right. No, 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 no. I'm not that tall. I'm not that tall. I'm not that tall. I'm not tall.
You look even better.
Thank you, Mr. President. One of the most exciting things we're working on, again, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, just 1 second. We'll finish up. But these are highly respected guys. I was shocked with Larry because I don't even think Larry does this stuff. You did a very good job for a guy that doesn't do it much, right? But he's so respected, and the group, and it's really an honor. But for Larry to be here and do this is very unusual because he doesn't do this stuff. He doesn't need it. He does, and you don't need it, do you? Huh? You don't need it. But I think it's an honor to the country. It's a great honor that this group, these are the top people, that they're going to do it, and they're going to do it here, and we're going to make it as easy as it can be. A $500 million Stargate project comes in addition to a separate pledge between $100 and $200 billion from, as we know, from Masa, we talked about before. Also, $20 billion from DMAC, which was great, and we have many others that are coming. Some I just announce it. It's easier, but with some, I know them, and they're so highly respected. I'd rather do it this way. Many would like to do it this way, but we're letting the world know what's happening. This is money that normally would have gone to China or other countries, but in particular China. In total, before the end of my first full business day in Washington in the White House, we've already secured nearly $3 trillion of new investments in the United States, and probably that's going to be 6 or 7 by the end of the week. Tremendous amounts of money are coming in for many things other than even AI. AI seems to be very hot. It seems to be the thing that a lot of smart people are looking at very strongly. And our country will be prospering like never before. I think that's true, and it's going to be the golden age of America. As I say, yesterday we had the most ambitious, action-oriented day of any administration in history. No, there's never been a first day like yesterday, as you know. I signed a sweeping slate of executive orders to stop the invasion of our borders. I launched a government-wide effort to defeat inflation and bring down the cost of daily life and bring down the cost of energy, magnificently bring it down. And when energy comes down, Larry, I'd say generally speaking, when energy comes down, everything else comes down. The prices of food and the prices of everything else come down. Energy is that's the big baby. And we declared a national energy emergency to drill, baby, drill, our term that we use. We're going to drill, baby, drill like never before. We ended destructive DEI mandates across the federal government and returned our country to a merit-based system and a common sense system. As you know, the Supreme Court gave us a decision on merit, where things in this country can be based on merit now instead of a lot of different rules, regulations, and things that really put our country at a big disadvantage. We permanently stopped government censorship and restored free speech that was signed yesterday. We were renamed the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. Sounds so beautiful, the Gulf of America, and returned the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley. They took off the name, and he was actually a great president. He was a very, very successful businessman. He ran for governor of Ohio. He won and did a great job as governor, ran for president, and he won. He was assassinated, ultimately, in his second term, unfortunately. But he was the tariff king, and I don't think he was as bad as I am. I think I believe in him even more than him, but he believed in him very strongly. And he raised massive amounts of money. Our country was at its richest from 1870 to 1913. We had the most. That was when we were the richest, relatively speaking. We were the richest during that period of time. That was tariffs from other countries. And our administration's moving with unprecedented urgency and speed to confront every single crisis facing us, and we'll get the job done. And again, I want to thank Sam and Masa and Larry for being here. It's an honor to have them. And we'll take a few questions if you want.
Some of the executive orders, you would agree that it's never acceptable to assault a police officer,
Sure.
right? So then if I can...
All right, guys, we're going to stop it there because it's going to start. The press wants to, like, steer this conversation towards the J6 and all the pardons and all that stuff, and do what they usually do, which is spin and do all that. So we're just going to skip that for now, and we're going to go on to keep discussing. I just wanted to let the president finish his statement before I switched off. I know he went on to some other topics and started covering some of the stuff that he had done yesterday on his first day. Today's his first full day, and so let's go and let's get into the topic at hand. Okay, I'm just gonna switch out this thing really quick here. So here's the thing, you guys. The announcement is great. It's means for happiness, right? Like, we need to be on the forefront of progress, and we need to be on the forefront of technological advancements to keep our, economic powerhouse as a country in the lead when it comes to global situations, right? We need to be able to be the leaders, and some people are like, well, what's the big deal about being a leader? The big deal about being a leader when it comes to technological advancements and economics and things like that is that you then have leverage, right? Having leverage in negotiation is an extremely important thing. So being able to be a leader, it gives you that leverage, and that leverage can translate into things like, well, if a certain country is doing something we don't like, or they're oppressing people or something like that, and they're using our, technological advancements for them, we can then say, hey, listen, if you want to use our thing, you better stop doing the thing. So leverage is a very, very big thing in the art of the deal, right? So having leverage and being able to do that is important. So that's why, this is a great announcement. It's a really, really happy announcement. I'm glad we're going in this direction because, honestly, AI is going to help humanity. It is going to help humanity. But there are some concerns, right? There's some concerns in terms of, how we're going to train AI. What is AI looking for? Is it looking for the truth, or is it just going to regurgitate what it's being told is the truth? Who's teaching it? And Elon Musk has talked about this quite a bit. So I just want to go on to really quickly go through the people that are involved here, that were here on the briefing here, and just give you some background into who each one of these three people are, how they're involved a little bit, and so you get to understand the people behind what's happening. And then maybe what'll happen was, when I describe that, you'll get to see where some of my concerns are coming up, that I think do need to be addressed. So first of all, let's go to Larry Ellison, right? We're gonna talk through this really quick. So I'm just looking this up on Wikipedia, guys. I know Wikipedia is probably not the greatest source for information about controversial stuff or anything like that, because it's totally just taken over by the propagandist left. But I wanted to show this just as a description of who some of these people are. Okay, so Larry Ellison over here. We're just gonna look at this. So Larry Ellison is an American businessman and entrepreneur who co-founded software company Oracle Corporation. So if you don't know what Oracle is a it's a pretty long-standing company, right? It's been around for a while. It's an extremely large company when it comes to tech and software. He was Oracle's chief executive officer from 1977 to 2014. So 1977, they've been around for a long time, and is now its chief technology officer and executive chairman. As of November 13th, 2024, he's the third wealthiest person in the world, according to Bloomberg Billionaires Index, with an estimated net worth of $208 billion. The guy is loaded, right? And the second wealthiest in the world, according to Forbes, with an estimated net worth of $237 billion. Ellison is also known for his ownership of 98% of, I believe that's pronounced Lanai, I might be wrong there, the 6th largest island in the Hawaiian Islands. Oh, I definitely pronounced that wrong, but that's neither here nor there. So that's Larry Ellison, right? Like that's him in a nutshell. There's tons of stuff that we can talk about in terms of what his schooling was and stuff like that. But I recommend you go through and look at it, because Larry Ellison, in my mind, he really is like a futurist. He wants to do really, really well. He has this view of what the world can be. I like the guy. I would like to look into him a little bit more detail to see what his views are on medical practices and things like that, because he did mention, things about jabs and whatnot. And that kind of concerns me a little bit, right? Because we want to be careful about how we are developing new technologies in terms of medical interventions. I'm not going to go too far deep into that because I am broadcasting on YouTube and I don't want to be taken out. Or taken off, not taken out. And then, so just so I can show you really quick here, Oracle is leading the cloud, right? Oracle is so Larry Ellison's company is, we help see data in new ways, discover insights, unlock endless possibilities. So Oracle has been putting a lot of energy into their cloud-based technologies, and it's even doing crazy things like telling people who use cloud-based services that they will beat the price by half of other companies that are charging them cloud-based services, because they really want to be the leader in the cloud space here. They said here, and it's a pinned thing here, we are proud to be working with OpenAI, SoftBank, and MGX on the Stargate project to secure American leadership in AI, create hundreds of thousands of American jobs, and generate massive economic benefit for the entire world. Okay, that's in line with what he was saying in here. I want to go on to the next thing here, where Oracle, this is the Oracle Health account on X. Oracle Health is harnessing data to create a more transparent, human-centric health experience. And then, here's the tweet, or here's the post. Our next generation EHR embeds AI across the clinical workflow to streamline processes and deliver actionable insights. Okay, so that's, and then here's how we're using patient data to help clinicians create personalized care plans. So I'm gonna go to that link in a second, but I just want to look at that first sentence right there. So basically, it's taking health information of people and it's integrating it into its AI, so that all the clinicians and all that stuff have access and have processing to be able to understand those bases of data, which is your personal data, to be able to actually come up with treatment plans and things like that. So that's kind of what that first sentence means. I'm going to go ahead and go to that link right there. Okay, so here's some of the stuff that Oracle's talking about in terms of its Health's 2020 vision, right? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but Oracle aims to revolutionize the EHR in 2025, transforming it from an administrative burden into a clinical asset powered by AI and machine learning. Seema Verma, Executive Vice President and General Manager of Oracle Health and Life Sciences, told Beckers. Okay, so Beckers is this publication that we're looking at. If you haven't worked in the medical industry before, you probably don't know this, and you've probably heard of like medical information leaks and stuff like that. I will say this: I have worked in the medical industry before, not in the medical sense, but in in a marketing sense. And I will tell you this, right, that the medical industry is woefully behind in terms of how it's using its technology, specifically in its administrative realm. They're horribly, horribly behind on how they deal with data. And in a lot of cases, I know this is kind of scary, but in a lot of cases, I'll tell you this, they're not following HIPAA. HIPAA. HIPAA is you'd be surprised how many HIPAA violations there are in the medical industry. I mean, you'd be scared to see what some of your doctors and stuff like that, even how they treat this stuff. I don't want to go into that too much. It's kind of a horror story, to be perfectly honest, but that has a lot to do with how, you know, AI and technology could help secure those things. But there's a balance between securing it and then it also being available to hack, right? So there's that's one of the things that I'm worried about. So here it is again. So revolutionizing EHRs with AI and machine learning. So basically, it's going to have your information. The AI is going to be able to help disseminate that information to the relevant and pertinent people that are involved in your medical journey, your doctors, clinicians, and all that stuff. And they'll be able to use machine learning to be able to analyze the data from the doctors in response to your, in relation rather, to your medical information, and then provide a comprehensive look through all the data that they get, not only from what the doctors are saying you should do medically, but what your actual medical information says, and then be able to come up with treatment plans or be able to see problems where they might or may not come. Okay. So the system will embed AI across the clinical workflow to streamline processes and deliver actionable insights. So that's what was there before. And it goes on to explain this more and more in more detail. So the platform also aims to assist administrators, researchers, and payers with analytical capabilities and efficient processes. So once again, using that technology to be able to actually get insights out of the data that's collected. Because right now, I'll tell you this, most of the medical information that's collected is literally either in a hard drive somewhere, on a server somewhere, just as a file, or it's in literal paper documents in one of those remember those old school like office file cabinet things. It's literally like that. I can't even tell you how many doctors, offices I've been to where all their data is literally, all their information is on paper, just in a file. And so when you have to ask them about anything, they have to go to those files. Now, the problem with that, and you might be saying, oh, well, that's so much more secure. The problem with that is I've also experienced a lot of doctors that forget, because they have so many patients, what your situation is, right? And so for them to then familiarize themselves with your information of what you're, allergic to and what you're not, it becomes a whole thing. Because let's say you have an issue, okay? You're taking a certain type of medication, right? And then you come in and there's a flare up of that situation or something like that. And then the doctor's like, okay, well, maybe we should try some type of steroidal cream or something like that. And they don't look at, they look at what other medications you're taking, right? And they're like, okay, well, there's not really a side effect or a contraindication and the comparison between the different medications, or not, this is not going to be really a problem. And they're like, okay, I'm going to prescribe that for you. Now, that doctor, if that doctor doesn't remember that at a certain point in your medical journey, you were obviously stated as having a allergic reaction to steroids, right? Or a specific type of medication, but you don't take that medication anymore because obviously you were allergic to it, but it's not part of your current medications. And then the new steroidal cream or whatever it is that they're prescribing you clearly states in its side effects that, oh, if you're allergic to that medication that you took before that you're allergic to, if you're allergic to that, you definitely shouldn't take this. the doctor's probably still going to prescribe it. And mind you, I've seen that done. I've seen that done with friends, family, my wife. Like, I've seen doctors do that. So then, like, you have to be the one that's like checking in to make sure and all that stuff. So that can get really, iffy. So having that ability to administer, so what it's saying is assist administrators, researchers, and payers with analytical capabilities and efficient processes. That's important. Like, that's an upside, right? And it'll be built on Oracle's cloud and AI technology. The EHR will use the Oracle database for its foundation. So Oracle database will have all this information in it. And then you basically have to figure out whether you're okay with Oracle having all this information in their database and how they've secured that information. I think that Oracle will, and all these individuals will have to make a concerted effort to make sure that they have implemented certain security protocols that put people at ease in terms of how their information is saved. I think there's a lot of internet companies who are struggling with that right now, and they've been struggling with that for years, of how to keep people's information private. So that's going to be interesting, because the AI will have access to all your information. Will you be able to choose what information the AI is allowed to look at? And if it's choosing and you're only giving it certain information, is the AI even going to be able to make a proper comprehensive analysis of your information and then provide the correct, possible treatment options? This all becomes really iffy when you talk about privacy, So, so that's one of the things. And it talks about interoperability. It talks about all kinds of things. Clinical efficiency, all that kind of stuff. So that's one of the things that I think that gets interesting here. So that's Oracle. The next thing I want to talk about here is Masayoshi-san. Okay, let's go ahead and read this. Masayoshi-san, once again, Wikipedia. I know Wikipedia, I get it, but it's just the quickest way to get a quick, description or summary of things like this. So Masayoshi-san is a Japanese billionaire, technology entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist. A third-generation Zainaichi Korean, he naturalized as a Japanese citizen in 1990. He is the founder, representative, director, corporate officer, chairman, and CEO of SoftBank Group Corp. A technology-focused investment holding company, as well as chairman of UK-based ARM Holdings. As an entrepreneur, let me try that again. As an entrepreneur, he achieved notability in PC software distribution, computing-related book and magazine publishing, and telecommunications in Japan, starting in the 1980s and booming throughout the 1990s and 2000s. His early $20 million investment in Alibaba Group. Now, you guys know Alibaba. That's that online, like, Amazon, competitor, right? Alibaba Group in 2000 grew substantially over the years, reaching a valuation of around 75 billion by 2014, following Alibaba's IPO, and contributing significantly to SoftBank's financial success. So that's the other thing, right? So if this person is, SoftBank is invested in this new AI venture, and one of their biggest investments is Alibaba. So now your medical information is part of this AI thing, and now Alibaba is marketing medications to you based on your information because the AI said that you need it. Like, this starts becoming iffy in terms of how that information and how your data is used to market to you, right? Okay, then it goes on, stock investor, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's Masayoshi-san. So let's go on to what I think is actually the most concerning individual that's involved in this thing, okay? And I'm going to go into this a little bit here. So here's Sam Altman. Now, if you don't know much about Sam Altman, I get it, because, is there really a need to know? But Sam Altman is a controversial figure, Okay, he's a controversial figure because he was outed from OpenAI, then he came back, then he took over. And when OpenAI was first founded, it was a nonprofit organization. Elon Musk had put in a bunch of information because, a bunch of money into it to invest as a nonprofit organization. Then Sam Altman and a bunch of people decided that they were going to take it into being a for-profit. Elon Musk wasn't happy about that. There was this whole kerfuffle about that. And in the end, OpenAI ended up being, becoming what it is now. And by the way, if you don't know what OpenAI is, and you probably do because literally you can't go anywhere without hearing the names OpenAI, artificial intelligence, or ChatGPT, right? OpenAI is their product is ChatGPT. Okay, so let's just read this real quick here. Samuel Harris Altman is an American entrepreneur and investor best known as the chief executive officer of OpenAI since 2019. He was briefly dismissed and reinstated in November 2023. He's also the chairman of clean energy companies Okla Incorporated and Helion Energy. I don't know much about those two companies, but I'm going to look into it. You should probably too. So Altman is considered to be one of the leading figures of the AI boom. He dropped out of Stanford University after 2 years and founded Looped, a mobile social networking service, raising more than $30 million in venture capital. In 2011, Altman joined Y Combinator, a startup accelerator, and was its president from 2014 to 2019. Okay, so that's just a quick summary on who he is. But let's go into Sam Altman a little bit, okay? Because Sam Altman is problematic, to say the least. I want to play a clip really quick. Let me just grab it. I want to play a clip really quick because the beef between Elon Musk and Sam Altman, and it's not, I don't know if you could really consider it a beef, but Elon Musk definitely has a problem with him. And mind you, Elon Musk is not the only person that says Sam Altman is not a trustworthy human being. There are tons of things about Sam Altman, and I don't even have the time to go into it all. His business dealings before, how he is manipulated, how he's done investments in, I believe there's some things with, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's investments he's made in like entertainment agencies and stuff like that. There's a bunch of stuff about Sam Altman. Honestly, it's just he just has a weird past. Okay, but I want to grab this really quick here. This is a statement that. Hopefully this clip plays properly and it's the correct clip because I've had a little issue with this. Okay, so here's Elon Musk talking about Sam Altman.
I mean, I started that company as a nonprofit open source.
Yes.
The open in OpenAI, I named the company.
Yeah.
OpenAI as an open source, and it is now extremely closed source, and maximizing profit. So
Does risking
I don't understand how you actually go from being an open source nonprofit to a closed source for maximum profit organization. I'm missing.
well, but Sam Altman got rich, though, didn't he?
At various points, he's claimed not to be getting rich, but he's claimed many things that were false. And now apparently he's going to get $10 billion of stock or something like that. So I don't trust Sam Altman, and I don't think we want to have the most powerful AI in the world controlled by someone who is not trustworthy.
So there you have it, right? That's a tricky thing there. Sam Altman, I mean, here's the thing, guys. If you start digging into Sam Altman and his past and how he was ousted from OpenAI and how he got brought back in, and that whole thing, maybe I'll do like an entire episode actually digging into it. You might start thinking like, wait, is this the guy we really want involved in the Stargate thing? I don't see how we have a choice at this point. Maybe there's a way that, there's more research done into him and there's negotiations that change, but I'm particularly not happy with Sam Altman being part of the Stargate project, to be perfectly honest. And full transparency here, I was a big ChatGPT guy. I really loved using ChatGPT. I used it for all kinds of things. And then when I started finding out what the deal was, and the fact that ChatGPT, OpenAI was going for profit and all this stuff, and I found out the history with Elon Musk and whatnot, I decided I wanted to get away from it. Grok wasn't ready yet for jumping over, but in its recent iteration, it is basically fulfilling everything that I need for what I use AI for right now. Okay, and there's other, there's Claude, there's Gemini, there's other AIs to use besides ChatGPT, right? So I've stopped using ChatGPT at this point because I just don't trust the situation, because there's other things going on as well. Okay, so let's go into this. Okay, so really quick here, OpenAI made a statement about the Stargate project. I want to read that to you guys really quick. Announcing the Stargate project. The Stargate project is a new company which intends to invest $500 billion over the next 4 years building new AI infrastructure for OpenAI in the United States. We will begin deploying $100 billion immediately. You heard all this in the statement. This infrastructure will secure American leadership in AI, create hundreds of thousands of American jobs, and generate massive economic benefit for the entire world. Now, the jobs, the economic benefit, that's really cool. We need that. We need more jobs, right? This project will not only support the reindustrialization of the United States, but also provide a strategic capability to protect the national security of America and its allies. The initial equity funders in Stargate are SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, and MGX. SoftBank and OpenAI are the lead partners for Stargate, with SoftBank having financial responsibility and OpenAI having operational responsibility. Masayoshi Son will be the chairman. So that's a little bit better, right? Like, I'm glad that Sam Altman's not going to be the chairman. ARM, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Oracle, and OpenAI are the key initial technology partners. The build-out is currently underway, starting in Texas, and we are evaluating potential sites across the country for more campuses as we finalize definitive agreements. As part of Stargate, Oracle, NVIDIA, and OpenAI will closely collaborate to build and operate this computing system. This builds on a deep collaboration between OpenAI and NVIDIA going back to 2016 and a newer partnership between OpenAI and Oracle. This also builds on the existing OpenAI partnership with Microsoft. OpenAI will, see, that's the thing. Microsoft, that also worries me, right? Microsoft has done some pretty shady things in the past as well. So, some of this stuff's a little worrisome. So yeah, this also builds on the existing OpenAI partnership with Microsoft. OpenAI will continue to increase its consumption of Azure as OpenAI continues to work with Microsoft with this additional compute to train leading models and deliver great products and services. All of us looking forward to continuing to build and develop AI and in particular AGI for the benefit of all humanity. We believe that this new step is critical on the path and will enable creative people to figure out how to use AI to elevate humanity. Now, obviously, this is all marketing speak. We all have to be a little bit more critical and conscious of what's going on. So the pitch is great, right? The pitch is definitely really nice. It sounds great, but some of the people that are involved worry me. Now, and I'll tell you this, right? Even if it wasn't like Sam Altman was involved or blah, 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 like even if Elon was the one that was in there with Grok and whatnot, we were using his models for, AI, I would say that we have to be really, really careful in the space specifically of medical, right? Medical information. I think we need to be really, really careful. I think, I don't have to tell you guys, but with everything that happened in 2020 and whatnot, the lockdowns, all that stuff, medical information and how it's used to affect, public health, policies and whatnot get really iffy, and we have to be careful about that. Like, are we giving these people the power to say, well, hey, listen, AI is smarter than you, and this is the right thing for public health. This is what we need to be doing. What are the protections against that, right? And how, and is there an independent institution that can actually be the watchdogs? And then who's watching those? That's that whole thing, right? Like, who's watching the Watchmen? It gets into that, and that's always going to happen. Are we just going to give up our autonomy because AI is smarter than us? And it will be. Like, let's be honest, AI is going to be smarter than us. But are we just going to give up autonomy? Right? The other thing about Sam Altman and OpenAI that I really want to go into, and this is a little bit of a deviation, right? But I wanted to mention this while I was talking about Sam Altman and OpenAI. There has been something happening since November that is really concerning. And recently, Tucker Carlson did an interview with an individual that was the mother of someone who worked at OpenAI. And this person, this brave individual, Shachir Balaji, was a engineer there. Now, this guy, I got to tell you, he was a prodigy. Like, and I'm not even using that word in a hyperbolic way. Dude was a prodigy, super genius, super like, and he cared about humanity, right? But he was working at OpenAI, and he found out that OpenAI, ChatGPT and whatnot, were using copyrighted information, or rather, he knew that they were using copyrighted information to train the OpenAI, models. But when they were nonprofit, it wasn't a big deal, right? Like, it's like, okay, we're not using this to profit. But when it switched over into being a profit-based company, Sachir, he's like, wait a minute, no, this is unethical, right? This is a problem. And he went public with this information, and he talked about it with the people at work. He didn't just like do it secretly. He was very open about the fact that he had a problem with it ethically and morally. And he told his parents about it. He told other people. He went to the press. And when he was about to testify to all this information, he was found dead in his apartment. Now, we can start going down a road of conspiracy theories and all this stuff, but before you call it a conspiracy theory, before you do that, the particulars of how he was found are really interesting. And it was ruled a suicide. And most people would be like, well, why would someone that incredible commit suicide? Now, there's obviously a lot of things that you can say about people who are suicidal. Sometimes people have no idea. A lot of times people have no idea that people have suicidal thoughts. So, and by the way, if you have suicidal thoughts, make sure that you're getting help. Make sure you're talking to people. It's important to do so. That being said, I personally do not think that this was a suicide, and I'll tell you why. Because Suchir Balaji's parents did not get much information about what was going on. And the way they were treated was really, really weird when they found out their son was dead. It was just ruled a suicide without any real deep study and investigation. And so without going into it too much, I will say this. I personally think that Suchir Balaji was murdered. And it had probably something to do with the OpenAI situation. Okay. And if you guys want to, you guys should check out, let me just show you really quick. So Tucker Carlson, so this is Tucker Carlson's X account, and on there is a post, it says, Suchir Balaji worked as an engineer for Sam Altman building AI until he decided that Altman was committing crimes. Balaji became a whistleblower and soon after was found dead in his apartment. California authorities claimed it was a suicide. Crime scene photos clearly show a murder. Balaji's mother, Purnima Ramarao, tells the most shocking story we've heard in a long time. And he does this hour and 5 minute long, like, in-depth interview with this amazing mother. And I'll tell you this, and by the way, this interview was done just like barely a couple months after her son died. And the clarity and the absolute like wherewithal this amazing mother has and how she explains herself and everything, it's an incredible show of strength. And I implore you guys to go to Tucker Carlson's X account and watch this interview. I'm actually going to put the relevant links to some of this stuff in as a secondary post to my post, my live post here on X. And then it's also in the description for those of you who are watching on YouTube and Rumble. Okay, guys, you got to watch this interview. I'm not going to go into it too deep, but the information with the crime scene photos and stuff like that Purnima Ramarao shows Tucker Carlson, and even Tucker's like, this is obviously a murder. It's so obvious, it's ridiculous that they're having so much trouble proving it one way or the other, right? Or rather, proving it for what it really is. So, and I just got to say, to Secure Biology's family, like, we agree with you. We see what's happened, and we hope you get justice. So there's that, right? And so that connects into Sam Altman and OpenAI and all that stuff. So this is information that, you know, you really need to think about. So I'm going to shift gears here a little bit and talk about something that I think is interesting because it kind of relates and comes back into this idea of how this AI is going to be used for medical stuff. I don't know how many of you actually know, but you probably, if you're watching this video, if you come upon this video and it comes through your algorithm or whatever, you've probably seen this talked about before. It's a technology called CRISPR. So really quick, what I'm going to do is, and if you haven't heard about CRISPR, I'm just going to go into, I just asked Grok to give me a simple explanation. So I'm just going to go through here so you guys can, if you don't know what CRISPR is, you kind of get like a basic run through. Okay. So CRISPR is an acronym for clustered regular interspaced short palindromic repeats. Here's a breakdown of what it means and how it functions. What is CRISPR? So the origin is CRISPR is a naturally occurring genetic system found in bacteria and archaea, acting as a defense mechanism against viruses. The mechanism is the system uses CRISPR sequences, which are segments of DNA containing short repetitions of base sequences. These are interspersed with unique spacers derived from viruses or plasmids that have previously attacked the organism. Pardon me. Function. CRISPR array. When a virus invades, its DNA is cut into small pieces and integrated into the CRISPR array as new spacers. Cas proteins. Alongside CRISPR sequences, there are Cas, CRISPR-associated proteins. These proteins are enzymes that can cut DNA. The most commonly used in genetic editing is Cas9. Gene editing processes. Guide RNA, gRNA. Now you've heard of mRNA, this is gRNA. Okay, scientists design a piece of RNA called guide RNA that matches the DNA sequence they want to target. This gRNA guides the Cas9 protein to the exact spot in the genome where the cut should be made. Cutting. Cas9 then makes a precise cut at the targeted DNA sequence. Repair. The cell attempts to repair this cut by providing a DNA template. Scientists can influence this repair to introduce specific changes, like correcting a mutation or inserting new genes. You see where this is going, right? Gene manipulation and being able to create the perfect human, and, you know, right? Applications of CRISPR. Biomedical, disease treatment, potential to correct genetic defects, treat or prevent hereditary diseases like cystic fibrosis, sickle anemia, etc. Interesting, you know, there was a debate a little while ago about people talking about, like, if you could use CRISPR to make sure that your child, this was specifically about this topic, make sure that your child did not have some sort of MR or Down syndrome, would you use it? That became a huge discussion. And I think these are discussions that need to be had. Where does it stop? Where does that gene treatment and preventing hereditary diseases and things like that and genetic defects, and what's a defect, right? Like, who's classifying and qualifying a defect? Like, what is the quantifiable, you know, reasoning behind what is a defect? Are moles defects? Like, how far does it go? Now, if you haven't watched it before, I recommend watching a movie called Gattaca. Actually, let me pull that up really quick. Let me just show you what it looks like. If you haven't watched this movie, I really, really recommend it. Here, let me show you. Can you show me the thing? Okay. If you have not watched this movie, I highly recommend it because it takes this concept of gene manipulation and all that stuff to the, like, extreme. and it shows you what that society would look like. This is an incredible movie. It's one of my favorites. You should definitely watch it. Things get really, really interesting. Brilliant movie, and you should definitely watch it. So let's going back here. Okay, so we did disease treatment, cancer research, which is what they talked about in the press release, right? For understanding cancer mechanisms and developing targeted therapies. Now, could that be a good thing? Yes, of course that could be a good thing. But what are the side effects? Like, are we thinking about side effects? Like, is the AI going to take your, or is it going to have the information about your DNA and then also be able to figure out all the variables that are involved in making some kind of a change or understanding cancer mechanisms and targeting certain therapies? Like, there's always a risk of side effects, right? There's always a risk of something affecting something else. There's the chaos theory, you know what I mean? The butterfly effect. Is AI going to be able to analyze all the information required to be able to make sure that the probability, right? Because the plausibility is obviously there, right? Or the possibility rather. Is it going to be able to mitigate, minimize the possibility of side effects? And what if it's something that is not within what has already been investigated or observed or found to be an issue? Is AI going to figure out before they implement these mechanisms that there could be a potential possible side effect that we've never even heard of? That's going to be an interesting way to, and at that point, like if it's evolving that quickly, I wonder if there's and this is the optimistic viewpoint, right? Like, what if this AI, Stargate, looks at the entire history of medicine, whether it be allopathic or not, right? What if it looks at all forms of medicine and health, and it figures out that we've been doing everything wrong? and then evolves into this thing where, like, okay, first of all, stop doing all this stupid shit. Let's start doing it this way. And then we start doing it and it actually ends up being better. Like, what if AI figures out that, wait a minute, hold on, we don't need this targeted gene thing if we just started doing other things differently beforehand, so the cancer never even happens? That could be cool, right? Then what we could essentially do is eventually remove that. But then once again, as that evolves and we keep going on, and the iteration of what that means is that we might end up in a situation like in that movie Gattaca. Now, if you've seen Gattaca, comment below and let me know. By the way, I haven't said this yet, but if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, follow. I'm starting out here and I'm really trying to get this going. If you like how I'm covering this stuff and you like the general way I explain things or talk about things, go ahead and give a guy a like, share, subscribe, follow. It's really going to help me out, helps me in the algorithm, it helps me grow my channel. Also, I have a locals profile. If you feel like donating to me and being involved, my locals is going to grow. I'm going to make that community bigger, and you can help me keep this thing going, keep the lights on, keep the camera on, and the microphone on, and me being able to have tea. So thank you for watching, you guys. Let me get back to what I'm doing here. So agriculture, crop improvement for creating crops that are more resistant to pests, disease, and climate variations, or to enhance nutritional content. Basic research, a powerful tool for understanding gene function by knocking out genes and observing the effects. Like, imagine being able to do really detailed models. I think that's really cool. Being like, hey, listen, like the Jarvis type thing, right? Like, be like, hey, listen, I want you to see if this specific gene in the sequence, if it goes away, what effects does it have on the other genes and on the subject, meaning the living creature or whatever. What does it do? Can you run a simulation? And it'll be able to run those simulations a lot quicker. And imagine if we get to the point where this then Stargate, it then starts using not just the AI machines that we're building now and the servers and stuff like that we're building now, these huge gigantic clusters, but it somehow evolves into a place where we start using quantum computing, the amount of calculations and figuring out of how we can do this could get amazing. Like I'm telling you right now, I'm extremely optimistic about the AI future. I think it could better humanity. But like a lot of people have said, Elon has said, and whatever, I think we also need to be, that we need to have a healthy bit of skepticism and concern for how we get there. Okay, so here's some ethical considerations. Off-target effects. There's a risk that CRISPR might cut DNA at unintended places, leading to unforeseen genetic changes. You know, we might get into like a Total Recall type situation, right? You guys have seen that movie? There's germline editing. Editing human embryos, germline cells, raises significant ethical issues regarding consent, unintended consequences for future generations, and fairness and access to such technologies, right? So there becomes this thing about like, oh, wait, what if this becomes like a commercial thing? The people that are editing, once again, you guys got to watch Gattaca. If it becomes one of those things where it's like, oh, only rich people can afford this stuff, then what are you going to have? This class of genetically perfect people and the rest of us just get left behind? You know? Biodiversity. Concerns about creating genetically modified organisms and their impact on ecosystems. That's a great point. Biodiversity is extremely important in the gene pool, right? Like if you don't have diversity in the gene pool, it could create really, really big problems. And we know this because we know about what kind of problems things like incest create, right? We know this is a problem. If the gene pool becomes too quote, clean, in the sense that it's too similar, the diversity, the lack of diversity will create, you know, secondary, tertiary problems. And then we'll have to solve those things. So is there a way that AI can, the AI and the Stargate thing in its eventuality or in its evolution, figure out how to mitigate that problem? I mean, this gets really complicated and really, you know, really crazy. Your brain could just start getting jumbled up, or you could just fix it genetically, I guess, in the future. But so CRISPR has revolutionized genetic engineering by making gene editing more accurate, efficient, and cost-effective, opening up numerous possibilities in medicine, agriculture, and beyond. However, with these capabilities come significant responsibilities to ensure ethical application and to mitigate potential risks. This is everything that I've been talking about right now. I by the way, I'm going to be putting, I'm going to put this link in the description as well. And I'll put this in the, as a response, as a reply to the post on my X, a post for the live here. So that's most of what I wanted to talk about here. I really hope you guys, you know, take a look at this and don't just see this as like, oh, it's a negative thing. Like, I didn't make this video to scare you guys. It's about being aware, right? And not just taking things at face value. I think that overall, going in this direction of AI and all this stuff is a good thing, and it can be a good thing. But we have to be careful about how we get there. I really hope that we are careful. We're being responsible, and we're not just giving the keys to the city away, right? We don't want that, because some of these people I don't really trust. And we shouldn't trust them, right? And here's the other thing that nobody's talking about. If the government is so keenly involved in these things, how much information and access does the government have? You can see an eventuality where you could get a government with individuals in that government, meaning politicians, administrators, and stuff like that, that are not, they're not good people. And what if they start using this information to do things that could affect certain groups of people? And you don't know who those are, right? There's tons of shows, science fiction shows, that I believe are brilliant in this matter. And there have been, like, if you've ever seen Designated Survivor, there is a big part of the show where a bunch of people figure out how to use CRISPR to target specific groups of people that may not be racially related or anything like that, but they have a certain gene mutation based on the fact that they had a certain ancestry that was from a certain area, and then they were targeted and kind of wiped out, right? Like this gets really iffy. But once again, I don't want to sit here scaring you guys. It's a good thing. I'm really happy. Second day, first full day of President Trump, and he's already seeing that we need to be the technological leader. And I think getting a jump start on it like this is a really good thing. I'm glad we're going in this direction. I just hope that there's people around Trump, which I know there are because Elon, things like that are around, to say, hey, listen, Mr. President, I know you're trusting this thing with Larry and Sam and Masayoshi, but make sure that you have someone in place to make sure they're not doing some funky stuff. I believe that will be there. I believe that will happen. So there should be some kind of oversight there, and I think that will happen. Before I go, I just want to say, because this CRISPR thing is really, really intriguing, there's a channel that I really, really love watching, and it's done a great kind of creative approach to talking about this CRISPR thing. And I'm putting the link in the description. It's there. And I'm also going to put it once again as a reply underneath the X post. I really got to stop saying Twitter. Old habits, right? And I want to just talk about this really quick. So there's a channel called The Y-Files, okay? The Y-Files is really, really great. If you haven't been watching the Y-Files, like, you got to check it out. It's some really interesting. There's tons of videos on there where they've done really good shows about all kinds of conspiracy theories and mysteries and things like that. It's a really good show. There's a episode that they did, and the host is this really cool guy named AJ Gentile, and he has like this pet fish that he talks to, hecklefish. It's kind of funny. Their interaction's kind of funny, but he presents this information in a really cool way. He's actually pretty talented, okay? But they did an episode about the whole CRISPR thing, and it's called The Genetic Arms Race, How CRISPR and AI Destroy the World. So it's kind of like this creative, kind of fictional possible future that he creates in this episode, and how he talks about it and how it could become. So I think that's really interesting. So once again, I really think you guys should watch Gattaca. Go ahead and check out the link to that. Once again, if you haven't liked, shared, subscribed, followed, please do that. I really appreciate you guys watching. So yeah, this episode's called The Genetic Arms Race, How CRISPR and AI Destroy the World. It's on the Y-Files on YouTube. Go ahead and check that episode out. I'm not going to play it here, obviously, but there's AJ and Ecclefish right there, and the Y-Files is a great channel. Check it out. I'm going to call it at that, and I'm just going to say this as a last bit of kind of, I guess it's a plea. We're happy that Trump is back. We're happy that he's the president, right? Ecstatic. But let's not just be complacent, because I gotta say, in his first term, when I found out that he was letting Fauci kind of do his thing, I was extremely pissed off. Okay. There were a lot of things during the whole pandemic, a lot of decisions that were made that I was not happy about. And I was like, wait a minute, you know? So not to downgrade the new president or whatever, but let's be honest here. He can't know everything. And so the gaps in the information that he has to fill those with people who really know what they're doing. Now, he's put together an amazing team, right? Elon, RFK, Vivek, JD Vance. Just the list goes on and on and on. He's got some amazing people on there. But it worries me that he's got people like Sam Altman around. And I think that we should be vocal about it, and I think we should let him know. I think we should let everybody in the administration know what we think. Let's be honest. Fauci's a criminal. He will be remembered with the likes of Mengele. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that one. The guy is evil, okay? Straight up evil, and Biden pardoned him. Preemptively pardoned him. That's worrisome. Right? So let's be aware, let's be present, and make sure we're watching all this. Stay on X. X is the quickest way to find out what's going on in the world. So if you're not on X, get on X, because it's the quickest way to find out what's going on in the world and actually respond, be able to talk to the people who are giving you the information, question them, post your own things. X is the platform. It is the best platform out there right now. And if you think otherwise, you obviously haven't been on X long enough. I literally have X, all the notifications on all the time, because it's telling me what's going on in the world as quickly as possible. So once again, thank you for joining me on this episode here. I really appreciate you guys watching. Once again, like, share, subscribe, follow, help a brother out. Check out my locals link to see if you feel like donating to me and keeping the lights going and all that. My name is Anu. This is Anu Gets Real, and we just got real. Peace.